When I was shopping for a new watch, I really didn't think I'd end up with a Grand Seiko, let alone a quartz Grand Seiko. So today I'm going to explain why I chose a Grand Seiko over a Rolex. Welcome to Buck and Jack, I'm Adrian, and if you're new here, this channel is just about me exploring watches and documenting what I find out, kind of learning more about watches and sharing what I learn and my experiences. And I really surprised myself when I bought a Grand Seiko, so I kind of want to talk about that. But before we get into it, I'm just going to show you a quick advert for my NATO straps, because got bills to pay and coffee to buy. If you're into your NATO straps, jump over to buckandjack.shop. We've just launched some new straps with floating keepers and a new nylon called tubular nylon, so go check those out. So when I was looking for a new watch, and I'll put links in the description of the kind of shopping videos where I went out and kind of explored different watches. I was looking for a watch that could sit alongside my Rolex Explorer, the 14270 from 1998. He's getting dusty. That's terrible. But I wanted a watch that could sit alongside that. I wanted a watch that was quite hard wearing, and I wanted something that was really versatile. This doesn't fit all of those bills, but it really surprised me when I tried it on. A watch that was very high in the running was this guy, the Rolex Explorer II. This is from the 90s, and this is the reference 16570. Thanks so much to the guys over on the Clockbait channel who lent me their Explorer II. It's very, very trusting and very kind of them for them to lend me this watch so I can do this video. When I tried this on, I got this sudden sinking feeling of, holy shit, this is a nice watch. Have I done the right thing? This is an amazing watch. It's iconic within the tool watch arena. There's very, very little wrong with this watch. But then I looked back at this guy, the finishing, the attention to detail, the build quality, it is incredible on this piece. And I know it's an unfair comparison because we are comparing a 2018 watch to a 1990s watch. And of course, this is going to feel like a better built watch. There's better technology going on. But to be quite frank, this watch was in the running to be bought, not the newer version. These things are absolutely awesome. It was my first Rolex and I sold it. I wanted to get it back again. And I had my heart set on this. I was so close to pulling the trigger. But I couldn't stop thinking about this guy. This is the Grand Seiko SBGN001. This is the limited edition version. There's 3 of these. There's one with a blue dial with red accents, there's one with a black dial with orange accents, and there's this one. It has a dark grey etched dial and it has quite strong yellow accents. When I tried one of these on, it just blew my mind. The attention to detail, the build quality, and the exactness of the whole watch. It honestly did blow my mind. I didn't know I wanted one. I was just very impressed with it. I kept thinking about this watch and I kept going back to try it on. It was one watch out of all the watches that I've tried that I kept thinking about. I'd go to bed thinking about this watch and trying to figure out why I liked it so much. Feeling a bit dirty with the fact that it's quartz and feeling a bit confused with myself, the fact that it was quartz and I liked it so much. A lot of people sit in the camp of, I can't buy a quartz watch because it's not mechanical, I don't have a relationship with it, there's no emotional thing with it, I can't be in awe of what's going inside of that watch because it's just an electronic movement. I understand that, or I understood that, until I got this watch and I started reading up about it, and I started educating myself on different levels of quartz watches, and I started to realize that actually watches that I disliked in the past because I wrote them off simply being quartz are actually really clever watches. It's like having a friend who has a collection of 10 Invicta watches and them complaining about you going off and buying one Rolex Submariner no date, and them saying you've spent all that money on one watch. You could have bought 50 of these watches, and they all do the same thing. It's all mechanical. But that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, and it's just not true. There's a lot of difference between a Seiko 5 movement and a movement that's a nice Calatrava. They can do similar things. They might have similar complications, but that's kind of where it ends. They have the same beating heart, and they measure time in technically the same way, but that is where the similarities stop. They're then executed in completely different ways, and that's what's special about this guy. I'm going to do a separate video on the movement because I feel like I want to share my newfound passion for quartz, which sounds so dirty, but good quartz watches, not shit, because there's a lot of shit out there. My wife has some. That's one of the reasons why I love doing this whatever Bark and Jack is, because it opens up little rabbit holes for me to go down, and I have time to now go down those rabbit holes and explore. There's a new, fairly new channel in Australia called Not So Obvious Watches. I'll put a link in the description. And the chap on there made a great point about how we should all be watch reviewers, meaning that we should analyze our watches and understand why they're great or why they're not so great. Buying a Rolex Submariner, superb watch, but you can't just say, oh, I bought this because it's a great watch. No, why is it a great watch? Explain why it's a great watch. Analyze your watches and figure out why they're good. Don't just buy them because Joe Bloggs said they're good. Buy them because you know they're good. I've read about this watch and I've now learnt enough about it for me to feel convinced that it's great. It blows my mind, the comparisons between this and Rolex. What Rolex kind of get away with is quite amazing. Design-wise, a lot of people are going to say that this is a Rolex Explorer II homage, but if you're in that camp, you're going to need to change the name Rolex Explorer II to Glycine Airman, because the Glycine Airman came out first. If you're in that camp and then using that logic, then I know I'm comparing the two, but that's because I was going to buy that. I wasn't going to buy the Glycine Airman. But if you're in that camp with that logic, then the logic is that the Explorer II is a homage to the Glycine Airman, and then this could be an Explorer II homage. That side of it, I don't mind. Even if technically, because it's all opinion, this is all opinion, majority of it's opinion. Even if it was technically a homage to the Explorer II, that doesn't matter for me. The execution of this is far, far superior than the old Explorer II and the current Explorer II. And that's just not me being biased because I bought this. I could have bought the new Explorer II. I'm going to quickly do comparisons of the kind of specs, the dimensions of these guys. The Grand Seiko is 39mm wide. The Explorer II is 40mm wide. The Grand Seiko is 12.1mm thick. And the Explorer II is 12.2mm thick. They're both water resistant to 100 meters, which is more than capable for what I need. And the biggest thing that pisses me off is the lugs. The Explorer II has 20mm lugs and the Grand Seiko has 19mm lugs. There is no reason for any company to use 19mm lugs. It's just completely unnecessary. I'm now going to have to, I don't have a 19mm wide NATO strap, so I'm going to have to launch a 19mm NATO strap, which is just a pain in the bum. But so be it. The worst thing about the bracelet is the fact that it doesn't taper. It is just a straight bracelet, and that is a bit annoying. The biggest thing that stands out to me is the finishing on this thing. The attention to detail it's just amazing. And it's small things. For example, on the bracelet, you have a satin finish, a brushed finish on the top, and on the side you have a polished finish. Fine, a lot of bracelets have that. But it's a way that it fades in. So the edge of the bracelet has a polished finish as well. So it's not just a straight finish of satin and then polished on the side. It kind of rounds round, and it is perfectly done. It's little details like that which stand out to me. So the edges of the case are just brushed steel, but then you have the Zaratsu highly polished lugs, and in certain light that means that the lugs just disappear because they look black and it looks like there's nothing there, and it's very clever how they've done that. So you've actually got quite hefty lugs. There's quite a lot of metal there, but they've made it look very dainty by making them have the twisted lugs and having the Zaratsu polishing on the lugs. Similar to how the Speedmaster has the twisted lugs, and they do disappear. Now the movement is obviously the most contentious part of this watch. The movement is quartz, it's a 9F quartz, and this watch is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the 9F. But the 9F isn't a normal quartz movement. This movement is put together by two watchmakers. It's assembled by one watchmaker and it's then regulated by another watchmaker. It has amazing technology inside of it. For example, one thing that Grand Seiko have done, when this has a battery life of 3 years, when the battery runs out, you don't have to take it back to Grand Seiko. You can take it to any battery person and they can put a new battery in it, because they've put all the delicate parts in a super sealed container so that no dust and no humidity can get inside that little container and damage the gear train, mess with the lubricants that are in there. All that stuff is hidden away, so any Joe Bloggs can go in, not any Joe Bloggs, A skillful Joe Bloggs can go in and change a battery themselves without harming the movement or anything. Usually a quartz second hand might hit the second markers as the second hand goes down, but then gravity takes part and it will miss the marker on the way up, or whatever orientation gravity is taking effect in that way. There's no pissing about. The second hand knows exactly where it's going to go and it's going to hit it every single time. This has a regulator inside to make sure that it's hitting the marker every time. Grand Seiko have managed to get so much torque coming out of this movement that they've actually had to increase the weight of the hands. So compared to a normal quartz movement, these hands are around 4 to 5 times heavier to deal with the amount of torque coming out of the movement. We all know that quartz movements are impressively accurate, and I've not heard many people beyond that talk about how accurate quartz movements are. It's always been the phrase that, oh yeah, you can't compare a quartz watch to a mechanical watch because they're always going to be more accurate. Yeah, correct. A decent normal quartz watch, a run-of-the-mill quartz watch, will be accurate to around 15 seconds a month. That's not massively accurate. It's accurate to a normal Rolex, which is accurate to plus or minus 2 seconds a day. So if you think normal quartz movement is accurate to 15 seconds a month, this is accurate to 5 seconds a year. The normal version is accurate to 10 seconds a year. This one is accurate to 5 seconds a year. If you see any Grand Seiko with a 5-pointed star on the dial, it means it's accurate to 5 seconds a year. It's a special version. And that is the envelope that it's allowed to operate in. That's not actually how it works out. When these are tested, it often comes out to being accurate to 1 second a year. That's fucking impressive. It doesn't matter what way you look at it. These things, as a timekeeping device, this is an incredible watch. On paper, factually, this is an incredible watch. It doesn't matter whether you like the look of it. It doesn't matter whether you you dislike quartz. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. That's okay with me. I'm not. This is my watch. This isn't the channel's watch. But my point is on paper, factually, this is an incredible timepiece. And that's what I like about it. I think there's 3 things that are stopping people from buying Grand Seiko. One, you haven't experienced Grand Seiko and therefore it sounds like just hype, and I appreciate that. I get that. But do go out and check out a Grand Seiko and see if you connect with what's happening. Second thing is value retention. If value retention is important to you, do not buy a Grand Seiko, because these things don't hold value. Even that limited edition won't hold its value. Right now in the current market, they are soft watches. If you want a Grand Seiko and value retention is important to you, then go down the pre-owned route. Buying new it's not. You're going to lose money. The third thing is connection to the brand and what branding means to you. If you're buying a watch for the status that it brings, then Grand Seiko is still lacking there. Despite the fact that I believe they make better watches than Rolex, Rolex has a far, far superior brand to Grand Seiko. Rolex is an out-and-out luxury tool brand, and they have a very powerful brand with that. Grand Seiko, you have to be in the watch world to get it. You have to be in the watch world to recognize what it is. If you want your friends to know that you've got an expensive watch, Rolex craps on pretty much everyone, unless you're going up the way, and then you've got Patek and everyone else. But if those things are important to you, then Grand Seiko is going to be a lost cause. For me, I've got the Rolex t-shirt, and I wanted something that impressed me. I wanted something that when I looked down at my wrist, I thought, wow. And having experienced this, having felt this on the wrist and appreciated the detail that's gone into making it, there's no logical way that I could then go off and spend more money to buy an Explorer II. A more inferior watch in my eyes, both from a movement point of view and from a finishing point of view. Now, if you've got an Explorer II, well done. It's an incredible watch. In an ideal world, I'd buy both of them. I'd buy this for the design. I'd buy this for what it represents. For an emotional connection, I probably still have more of an emotional connection to this because it was my first Rolex. And so there'll always be a big connection to this. But right now, I'm very, very happy with what I've got. I was really concerned around the whole quartz thing. I was really concerned that I wouldn't connect with the watch. But because of the accuracy of the movement, because of the exactness of that second-hand moving, it highlights the work that's gone into making this. And I am equally in awe of the mechanical side of this watch as I am with any of my other watches. The yellow is quite punchy. I was very much drawn to the grey dial and very much drawn to the fact that this is limited edition. I am a sucker for limited edition things. I am a sucker for things being slightly different. If you're wanting a watch that's more versatile, then I'd probably go down the route of getting the black dial with the orange accents. I think that's a really, really cool watch. And had I not bought this one, I would have bought that one. If you want to see a review or a detailed video of that, Chris over at Horology House, an incredible channel. If you haven't checked it out, go check out Horology House. I'll put a link in the description. Superb video and superb channel. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this watch. I know this has been a contentious buy, but as I say, it was my purchase, and I am very, very happy with it. Of course, I'm in honeymoon period. I appreciate that, and it'll be interesting to do another video on this thing in, I don't know, 6 to 12 months and see how I feel about it. But right now, I'm very, very impressed with it. I'm very, very much in love with this guy. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. If you're new here, do hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done already. Hit that little bell icon as well so you get notifications when I drop new videos. Jump over to barkandjack.com if you want to see high-res images of this or read other articles and other videos. Jump over to barkandjack.shop if you want to check out our NATO straps. Follow me on Instagram at barkandjack, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.